Reacting forward, what does that mean? Something so interesting that I've noticed in myself, and I actually believe it's how most of us live life. And this way of being that I've noticed keeps us from having the life we're meant to have. And it's actually a really simple behavior hack, I might say, that can help you and me to truly have the life we're meant to have. We live reacting backwards. What does that mean? Throughout our days and years, having experiences, drawing conclusions, and then basing the future on what we've learned. So that seems like the right way to live life, doesn't it? Except I've noticed it doesn't work well for most of us. Most of us want so much more out of life than what we are presently receiving, and I really believe that reacting backwards is how we end up not having the lives that we want. A tiny interjection. I do have a degree in mental health counseling, so when I make these evaluations, it's based on experience not only with myself, but with others. So back to the topic. Reacting forward is the option instead of reacting backwards. Now at first, this may seem counterintuitive because it's just not the way that most of us have been taught to live. But I've been practicing it myself. In addition to finding that my life is much happier, I'm also accomplishing more of what I set out to do. Reacting backwards is, as I mentioned, taking whatever experiences we've had in life and making decisions from that stance. Versus reacting forward. Reacting forward looks like this. Whatever the occurrences are in our life, they are, but we base future decisions on what we want to have, not on what we already have had. Does that make sense? Do you see the delineation between reacting backward and reacting forward? Reacting backward, we have the experiences that we do, and then we base our decisions for the future on what we've already experienced. But unknowingly, that's a trap that we set up for ourselves, because if we're making decisions based on what we've previously experienced, particularly when what we have previously experienced is not what we want, then we're setting ourselves up to have the same experience in the future as in the past. Versus reacting forward, what would that look like? We have the experiences that we do in our lives, but when it comes to making decisions, we make decisions and make plans based on not what has already happened, but on what we want to happen. And there's a huge difference in making decisions from the future that we want instead of from the past that we've already had. An additional benefit of reacting forward versus reacting backward is that we don't have to constantly evaluate what has already happened in our lives to try to decide what to do in the future. So, overall, reacting forward is a much more peaceful way to live. We go about our lives living by the values that we have, which of course is just right. So, overall, reacting forward is a much more peaceful way to live. If I had to consolidate reacting forward and reacting backward into a few simple sentences, this is what I would say. Would you rather live your life based on past experiences or based on future dreams? That is the delineation, my friends. Do we make our decisions in life based on all that has already occurred? Or do we pivot and instead make decisions based on all of our hopes and dreams that have yet to come to pass? What I've found out in my own life is that making decisions based on the future I want draws me into that future, and making decisions based on the past brings repeat in the present of what has already occurred. I understand that this is different than most of us are accustomed to living. But, as always, I think little life experiments are a good idea, because if you try this for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks and see if your life is happier, then isn't that what we all want? I believe it would help all of us if we made more decisions based upon future dreams than based upon past experiences. What have you always wanted to do or be or live? What is that, my friend? And then in your days, as you have decisions to be made, make the decision from that person and that lifestyle and that vantage point instead of from where you are. And I can promise you that if you make your decisions from a place of where you're headed instead of where you have already been, that your life will blossom, unfold, and expand in a way that truly seems miraculous. But indeed, it is our focus that is allowing life to unfold in such a beautiful manner. Remember, you are a precious soul. Your life is in front of you, and you are needed in this world.